I really love Treasure You Tuesdays, and this Friday I'll be missing the show, but for a really wonderful cause. I'll be serving as the honorary chair for the Hope Store Luncheon at the Hilton Anatole, and here to talk about it, this wonderful organization, talk about all the great work they do, is Pat Tosi. She's the CEO for Hope Store. Welcome, Pat.
Thank you for having us.
No, thank you for being here. I didn't want to share this with you earlier. But no, it's okay.
It's okay. It's going to be a tearjerker.
No, not at all. Just that I have a connection with Hope Store. Years ago, I went on a visit with two of my girlfriends. Just randomly decided to go and serve at a domestic violence shelter. And I'd never shared with those girlfriends what I went through personally. And when I left there, after being with the women and the kids, I just totally broke down. And in that moment is when I realized really what I went through and how devastating it was to my soul, and the need that was so important, not only for the people that I could help, but for my own healing by being involved. So it's kind of neat to have you here today.
Thank you.
For Treasure You, and to be involved on Friday, because that place and that intersection for me was important and crucial for my life. It saved me.
Right.
In that area. So thank you for the work that you do.
And you've been a longtime supporter of Hope Store, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
And it's people like you every day coming in, supporting what we do, and helping us further the awareness, because there's not many people that know the grim statistics about the domestic violence.
Well, I mean, I was reading last night that every 9 seconds in the U.S., a woman is assaulted or beaten.
Yes.
That's mind-boggling.
Right. It is so prevalent. 1 out of every 4 women in their lifetime will experience domestic violence.
Okay.
And as you said, every couple of seconds, someone is battered. 3 children die a day from abuse. So it's not a pretty picture. And our services help those that are going through it. If they need emergency care, we have a 24-hour hotline call.
Okay.
We have a 21-bed emergency shelter for those that are in very bad danger.
Right.
And we have a transitional housing program that as our clients are ready to move out of the shelter and not in need of emergency safety, they start to live their life and re-enter community. And we support and subsidize the transitional housing.
Which I love, because it's one thing to help women when they're in that crisis mode, but then the hardest part is getting back into society, going back to work. You know, to helping your children transition through this process.
Right, children.
And you allow the children to come with the parent, correct?
We always try to keep the families together. That's one of our goals.
Okay.
And it is, you have to remember, when they come to us, they're usually fleeing a situation. So they come with nothing. The children come with their pajamas on, anything that mom could grab at the time. They come to the shelter, and then as we transition into the transitional subsidized homing, they are leaving with nothing. So we make sure that we set them up there. And then the neat thing about the program is that they actually contribute a % of what they're making to the rent, so that they can be accountable.
Oh, I love that.
And at the end of their stay, or at the end of the program, they get that money back. So it's a forced savings. They're not leaving with nothing.
Right.
We help them start their new life, and they contributed to that.
And you know what's important here too is to make sure that the women don't go back, right? So you want to help build them up so that they're strong enough not to go back to that abusive situation.
It usually takes a woman 7 times before she leaves successfully from her abuser.
Wow.
There's a lot of barriers to leaving.
Right.
And what we do at Hope Store, we provide safety planning and counseling, so that if in fact it is their choice to go back, they are prepared.
Exactly.
And they know we're here, and they can come back.
Right.
So eventually they can break through with the right resources.
And you brought someone with you today.
Yes,
that has
very
broken through because of your help. Why don't you introduce us to your guest?
Well, this is Jessica Garza. She's one of our clients, and she's the true hero of our program.
Yes, she is. Right. And by the way, audience, if you all were with us earlier, and we talked about Susie having that emotional moment before the show started, it was because of the moment she had with you, Jessica, before the show started. You touched her in a huge way, and I want you to share with us your story and why you went to Hope Store.
Well, what I told Miss Susie was my truth, and my truth is simply, it's so hard for a woman to admit to herself
Right.
let alone as someone else. So number one, you have to do that. And when I did that, I literally just gave it up. I said, what I'm doing is not right, it's wrong, show me the way. And my path led me straight to Hope's Door. Spiritually, I was fine. Spiritually, yes. Hope Fellowship, awesome.
Right.
Foundationally, my family, my rock. My sister, my brother-in-law opened the doors to me.
Right.
But mentally, I was broken.
Right. Tell us about that moment where
That
you
I left?
that you left and that you realized I'm broken and I've got to do something about it.
Well, most people think domestic abuse is just physical. But what's worse is sometimes it's emotional. And see, it wasn't his typical jealousy physical blow that made me leave.
Right.
I left March 12th, 2012, because it was the emotional blow that I wanted to mourn. I lost my baby. And he didn't have time for that. He wanted me to get over it, and I don't have time for your emotional crap. And that's when I said, everyone has their moment, and that was mine to say enough was enough.
Exactly.
And I had great friends that told me about, I didn't know that this existed. And they led me the way there. And
Here's a
thank
tissue,
you.
Jessica.
So with Hope's Door, literally when I first walked in, they have an intake sheet. Would you know that that intake sheet, to the T of who he was and what he did to me and how he demeaned me and how he controlled even finances, didn't want me to work.
And let's talk about that because that's key.
Yes.
I think women need to hear that. What are some of the signs that we need to look for when we're being abused?
Everyone thinks physical. Let's talk emotional. When you are a woman with your profession or say you have your own thoughts, a simple thing is an emotion. When they want to control those, when they want to make you feel as if you're looking at someone for 3 seconds or you're touching your hair, and then you start questioning yourself, did I touch my hair?
Right. So they're saying that you're flirting with somebody
Yes.
else. So there's a jealousy tendencies.
Right. So a lot of people, in the classes that I took with Hope's Door, because it was one-on-ones and then it was groups, there's signs, and a lot of people don't realize, oh, that's wrong.
Right.
Because I'll tell you what, the one word that they taught me
Right.
that I didn't even know existed was, well, 2 words, personal boundary. I had no idea that I had the right
to control this space.
Yes. And when those men start picking at that, and when women like me who felt, because of other reasons, broken and damaged,
Right.
I never had them.
And let me just say this too, not only women, but men are
Right.
abused as well.
Right.
So when it goes either way,
Right.
you've got to know that this is your personal space.
Right.
And no one can violate that.
And we have to teach that in the
Yes.
community because
Yes.
awareness is so critical.
Right.
They have to know that, yes, it happens to men as well. I think
Right.
it's 1 out of every 7 men will experience domestic violence. But we have to educate the younger children too,
Yes.
because what they're seeing at home is what they believe to be right.
And they emulate it
And
many times
it's a
in the
cycle
future.
that continues.
On and on.
So really to help make a changing impact on this issue, we have to help those that are going through it right now.
We've got to talk about it.
We have to talk
like you're doing today, Jessica.
Exactly.
I've got to commend you for being here and being so brave. This has only been like a year for you.
It has been 1 year.
And
March 12th I left, March 12th, 2013.
Right.
I was sitting in front of our state capitol with our senators talking about Senate Bill 129. I mean, is that not God sent?
It's God
to
sent.
the day.
Right. Well, let me just say this, girl, because first of all, I'm happy about what you all are doing at Hope's Door.
Thank you.
And Jessica, I celebrate you, girl. I treasure you for what you're doing. Thank you. You shared with me earlier that you really wanted to connect with me before you even knew I was doing the Friday event, correct? And that was that you wanted to come to, was it the retreat?
Your retreat.
You wanted to come to the retreat. Well, you're coming. And I have a certificate for you. All expense paid, retreat registration, 2-night stay at the Westin. We're gonna pamper you, we're gonna love you, we're gonna celebrate you, girl, because you are treasured. Thank you for having a voice to help other women and men that are going through this. Domestic violence needs to stop. And I praise you for that today. Okay, so this is yours. I'm gonna be hanging out with you, having some girlfriend time
Oh my
in
goodness.
September.
Oh, and it's bling.
And it's blinged out. And we love you. We celebrate you.